Every sword style in anime is fantasy. Characters swing blades that split mountains and cut through dimensions, and nobody asks if any of it is real. But Demon Slayer did something that no other anime has ever done properly. Every single breathing style in this series is built on top of a real martial art, a real philosophy, a real way that human beings learned to kill other human beings hundreds of years ago. And once you see the connections, you will never watch a Demon Slayer fight the same way again. It starts with the breath itself. Before we touch any style, you need to understand why breathing is the foundation of the entire system. In real Japanese swordsmanship, in schools that are still taught today, the first thing a student learns is not how to hold a blade, it is how to breathe. Controlled breathing regulates your heart rate, sharpens your reaction time, and pushes your muscles past the point where they would normally fail. This is not anime logic. This is sports science that samurai figured out 400 years before modern medicine caught up. Demon Slayer took that principle and turned it into a power system. Total concentration breathing is fictional in its results, but its foundation is the single most important lesson in real sword combat: sun breathing. The origin of everything. Yoriichi Tsugikuni created this style, and every other breathing form is a diluted branch of it. In the real world, sun breathing maps directly onto the oldest documented sword school in Japanese history, Tenshin Shoden Katori Shinto Ryu. This school was founded in the 1400s, and its practitioners believed their techniques were handed down from a deity. Their forms are circular, flowing, and designed to be total. Offense and defense exist in the same motion. There is no separation between attack and protect. That is exactly how Yoriichi fights. His movements have no wasted motion. Every slash is simultaneously a guard. The anime presents him as superhuman, but the underlying swordsmanship philosophy that the perfect technique has no gap between cutting and defending, that is a real principle that real swordsmen spent lifetimes trying to master. Water breathing, Tanjiro's first style and the most adaptive form in the series. Water does not have a fixed shape. It flows around obstacles, it fills gaps, and when it needs to, it crushes. In real martial arts, this maps onto the concept of Ju, the foundational idea behind Judo and classical Jujutsu. Ju means yielding, softness, the principle that you do not meet force with force. You redirect it. You absorb it. You let your opponent's energy become their own destruction. Watch how Tanjiro fights with water breathing in the early arcs. He does not overpower demons. He flows around their attacks and finds the opening. That is Ju in motion. The anime is not inventing this. It is animating a philosophy that Japanese warriors refined over centuries. Flame breathing, Rengoku style. And if water is about yielding, flame is about commitment so total that retreat does not exist as a concept. In real swordsmanship, this aligns with the principle of Sutemi, which translates roughly to abandoned body. Sutemi techniques are strikes where the swordsman commits every ounce of energy into a single attack, fully accepting that if it fails, they will die. There is no second swing, there is no fallback position. You either cut through your enemy or you do not come back. That is Rengoku. That is why his final fight against Akaza is not just a battle. It is a man choosing Sutemi over and over until his body physically cannot continue. When he locks his stance and refuses to fall at the end, he is not being dramatic. He is embodying the oldest and most terrifying commitment a swordsman can make. Abandon the body, trust the blade, thunder breathing, Zenitsu style, one stance, one strike, everything compressed into a single explosive movement. In real Japanese swordsmanship, this is Yaijutsu, the art of the fast draw. Yaijutsu practitioners spend years, sometimes decades, perfecting one motion, drawing the sword and cutting in the same instant. The blade leaves the scabbard already killing. Speed is not a bonus. Speed is the entire technique. Zenitsu only knows one form, thunderclap and flash, and fans laugh at him for it. But in real Yaijutsu, mastering one draw to absolute perfection is considered superior to knowing 100 sloppy techniques. One cut, no hesitation. That is the entire school of thought, and Zenitsu is its purest expression in anime. Wind breathing, Sanemi Shinazugawa's style, aggressive, chaotic, and wild. This maps onto a real but lesser known tradition called Jigen Ryu from the Satsuma domain in southern Japan. Jigen Ryu is famous for one thing: the first strike must kill. Their training involved hitting a wooden post 10,000 times a day, every day, until the motion was so ingrained it happened without conscious thought. The attacks are not elegant, they are violent, they are loud. Practitioners were known to scream during their cuts, using their voice to channel force. Sanemi fights exactly like this. There is no grace. There is no beauty. There is only overwhelming, relentless violence designed to end the fight before it begins. Insect breathing, Shinobu Kocho's style, and this one is different from every other breathing form because it does not cut. Shinobu lacks the physical strength to decapitate a demon, so she redesigned her entire approach around stabbing and poison. In real martial arts, this parallels the philosophy behind Chinese needle-based weapons, and more specifically the Japanese art of using short blades and tanto for targeted attacks on vital points. But the deeper connection is to a concept in martial arts called hyoshi, timing and rhythm. Shinobu does not need power, she needs precision. She needs to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right fraction of a second. Her breathing style is not about force. It is about rhythm so perfect that one small puncture does what a full blade cannot. In a series full of warriors swinging massive swords, Shinobu proved that understanding the science behind the weapon matters more than the size of the weapon itself. And that is what separates Demon Slayer from every other anime with a sword. These are not invented power systems designed to look cool. They are real martial philosophies filtered through fiction. Every breathing style carries the weight of a tradition that actual human beings lived and died by. Rengoku's commitment is not anime drama, it is Tsutami. Zenitsu's one technique is not a joke, it is Yaijutsu. Tanjiro's adaptability is not plot armor, it is Ju. The swords in Demon Slayer are fictional, the fire and water effects are fictional, but the philosophy behind every single breath is not. It never was.